thoughts now of the Labour MP, Stephen Kinnock. Nice to see you.
Good morning.
Do you think there is room for an agreement between Labour and Conservatives which could get withdrawal from the EU through Parliament?
Absolutely, and I welcome the conclusions of the NEC meeting yesterday, because the top priority has to be to get a deal over the line. And the only way we're going to do that is by taking a second referendum out of the deal. Colleagues who are campaigning for a second referendum would, of course, be welcome to put down an amendment to the withdrawal agreement bill. But if we entrench a deal within a second referendum within the deal that's been negotiated, we know that the Conservatives will never be whipped for that, and therefore we will never get that deal over the line. So I think that the NEC conclusions yesterday definitely maximise the chances of Jeremy Corbyn and Theresa May agreeing a compromise, and that's what we all need to see.
So what is the basis of a compromise that you could accept, that you think the two leaders could sell to their parties?
Yeah, I think some form of customs arrangement and strong single market alignment. I've always been of the view, and Common Market 2.0, which we've been campaigning for 2 years now, emphasises the importance of the single market. In fact, 80% of the issues around the border in Northern Ireland, around frictionless trade, are around single market regulatory alignment more than a customs union. So a form of customs arrangement combined with single market alignment delivers frictionless trade, gets us out of the European Union, but protects jobs and livelihoods.
Could that command a majority, though? I mean, it seems likely that a lot of Conservatives wouldn't support that because they want the freedom to do trade deals, and likewise, a lot of Labour people who think now the time has come to consult the British people again in a referendum, they wouldn't want to vote for it either.
A lot's going to depend on the wording around the customs arrangement. I think that if we can commit to an arrangement which says, right, well, we need to keep this customs union replica in place until such time as alternative solutions can be found for the Irish border, I think a lot of Conservatives could live with that. And of course, if they are whipped by their Prime Minister, I think that maximises support, including from the Conservative payroll.
No, hang on, she's been trying to do that for months. I mean, how many Labour people do you think Jeremy Corbyn needs to be able to deliver, and how many do you think he can deliver? Well,
look, if both sides whip, I think we should be well over the numbers that we need for a majority. Jeremy Corbyn, who does this deal with Theresa May, would of course whip Labour MPs to do it. And the key thing then is people cannot be purists anymore. There is no Brexit or Remain option that's going to please everybody.
Well,
what we need is something that's the maximum number.
You were a Remainer and you're now trying to work out a way of getting out of the European Union. But I mean, there are a lot of purists in the House of Commons who just think that this deal is this deal in this form is not good for the UK.
Well, that needs to change. I mean, Common Market 2.0 in the indicative votes got 34 Conservative MPs voting for it. If we had had those colleagues on our side that voted for a people's vote but against Common Market 2.0 had been more prepared to compromise, we would have got over the line, as would Ken Clarke's Customs Union proposal. So I think it's time for British politics to rediscover the lost art of compromise, and we're never going to get out of this deadlock if we're not prepared to do that.
And do you think heading off European elections will be a big incentive for MPs in the Conservative and Labour Party to vote for this?
I think that's certainly focusing minds. If you look at the Brexit Party, the clue is in the word. The way to kill off the Brexit Party is by delivering Brexit, and I think that's clear to both sides of the political equation.
So you actually think this could be done and we might end up not having these elections?
The entire process, including the withdrawal agreement bill, impossible by the 22nd of May. But meaningful vote for, based on a meaningful compromise between Labour and the Conservatives, that needs to be brought to Parliament before the 22nd of May.
Are you bothered by Jeremy Corbyn describing a book 8 years ago as a brilliant tome when it contains anti-Semitic elements?
Deeply concerned. I can't believe that we're here again today discussing this issue. I haven't read the book, I haven't seen the details of it, but it sounds like it contains anti-Semitic tropes. If you're going to write a foreword to a book, you need to be absolutely sure that you know what's in the book.
Even if this was a book written 100 years ago, more than 100 years ago, when those kind of anti-Semitic tropes were fairly commonplace, to be frank.
I think that's true, but of course the foreword that Jeremy wrote wasn't in 1902. So, you know, we clearly live in a very different world now, and we have to ensure that we eradicate all forms of anti-Semitism from our society and from our political discourse. It is an evil that needs to be rooted out. It is concerning that we've seen elements of it in our party. And much more needs to be done to ensure that this is eradicated.
But given that this is on the record, that this introduction to the book is on the record, what can Mr. Corbyn do? Simply apologise or say I was mistaken or careless?
I think it would be good if he were to make a more public statement, perhaps even do an interview about the issue. You know, I think otherwise it's going to be this kind of swirl of speculation and lots of people having an opinion. But the person who wrote the foreword, I think, should probably come forward and say more about it. And
but do you
give
think
a more comprehensive explanation.
Any truth in his brand of left-wing neo-Marxist politics actually contains an element of anti-Semitism because it believes in an international capitalist conspiracy and it believes that Jews are central to that?
I think there are very worrying elements of conspiracy theories on the hard left. And one of them is this conspiracy theory that the capitalist system is run by a shady cabal of Jewish financiers, and it is an absolutely disgraceful anti-Semitic trope. We need to ensure that that anti-Semitic trope from a marginal faction of the hard left, it doesn't take over the Labour Party, and every effort has to be made to prevent that from happening, and that's why I think it's so important that Jeremy comes forward, you know, very, very soon to talk about the book and to give a more comprehensive explanation, because otherwise we will just continue with this constant swirl of speculation and rumour and counter-rumour, and we need to bring this to an end.
Stephen Kinnock, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.